So today I'm going to be reviewing the Well, hi there. Today I have a comparison review that nobody asked for, but I felt like could be useful. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Quince 20-inch carry-on and the Level8 20-inch textured carry-on. YouTube is full of luggage reviews, and I feel like the luggage reviews tend to fall into a few categories. The first one are legacy brands, Travel Pro, Samsonite, the kind of luggage that we've all seen everywhere and we're just honestly not that interested in. And then there are the luxury brands, Rimowa, Tumi, Louis Vuitton, brands that are nice but are absolutely out of budget for most people, including myself. And then there are the trendy startup brands. We all know these: Away, Monos, Base, July. These are all very cool, but sometimes the price points can be a little bit rough for people who aren't traveling constantly or just aren't really sure exactly what they want in a suitcase. Most of these are in the $250 to $300 range for a carry-on, which is the size that's relevant to me, and it only goes up from there for checked bag sizes. I seriously considered getting one of these bags just because we are traveling a little bit more, but to be honest, I just didn't want to spend that much, and I thought I could do better. I felt like I could do better. Like that I could find suitcases that were good or almost as good quality at a more palatable price point than $300 for a carry-on, which would be $600 because I would need to buy two of them. So these are the two options that I went with because I felt like they were both the best of both worlds. I felt like they would be a good choice to at least test the waters. They both came at a much lesser price point than $300, but they both also had a lot of the features that these innovative startup brands do have. Starting with the Quince 20-inch carry-on, the question that likely drew you to this suitcase in the first place is whether or not it is actually a good dupe for the Away carry-on. To be clear, I don't own the Away carry-on, so I can't attest to the differences in build quality or longevity. All I can do is compare feature for feature. Simple answer is yes. Feature for feature, the Quince is almost identical, but it goes deeper than that. Let me explain. The Quince 20-inch carry-on costs $119.90, which is less than half the price of the comparable Away carry-on, which costs $375. The external dimensions are 22 by 14.4 by 9.1 inches, which is technically a smidge larger than the standard carry-on allowance of 22 by 14 by 9 inches, but in practice that doesn't make a difference, so this carry-on will 99% of the time be fine wherever carry-on luggage is allowed. It features a polycarbonate hardshell, which gives the best of both worlds, balancing both strength and lightweightness, and the stated weight of the empty suitcase is 6.2 pounds. The overall aesthetic mimics the Away carry-on without outright copying it, with these half grooves instead of the full wraparound grooves of the Away. It also has the same soft look with the rounded corners. Unlike the Away, the Quince doesn't have a logo on the hardshell. Instead, the Quince name is printed on the extension pole and is only visible when the handle is extended. In terms of practicality, the Quince carry-on features plastic grab handles on the top and side, a TSA lock on the top, and double caster 360 spinner wheels by Hinomoto. Of course, we have the retractable handle, which is what it is. When we open up the bag, we see that just like the Away version, there is a fully enclosed zipper compartment on the left side, and on the right side, the side with the handle mechanism, there is a compression pad with a large flat zipper compartment and horizontal compression straps. The only difference is that the Away carry-on has two separate zipper compartments on the compression pad, but the Quince only has one. It also includes a separate zipper bag in this side pouch that can be used for laundry, shoes, or whatever else. That's all there is to it. In terms of features, it offers all the basics that you would want in a carry-on. Personally, I'm on the fence about the compression pad style, but I'll talk more about that when I compare the two suitcases later. Unlike the Quince carry-on, the Level8 Textured Carry-On 20-inch is not trying to be anything except itself. It is priced at $169.99 normally, which is a more palatable price point than any other startup brand carry-ons. In addition, you can purchase this carry-on conveniently on Amazon, and it is often on sale. I purchased mine on Amazon and got it on sale for about $135. One of my non-negotiable qualifications for our carry-ons was that it was made of 100% polycarbonate, which the Level 8 is. It also comes in 5 colors at the moment. The black I have here, gray, navy, pink, and pickle green. I'm not making that up. The stated exterior dimensions are 21.5 by 14.5 by 9.2 inches, which, like pretty much every other carry-on, is microscopically larger than most airline standard, but it won't make a difference in practice unless you run into an airline employee having a bad day, which could happen at any airline. At 7.7 pounds, the Level 8 is heavier than the Quince, but as the video goes on, you'll see where this extra weight comes from, and you can decide if that's something that is worth it for you. In terms of exterior features, the Level 8 of course has the double caster 360 spinner wheels. These are branded with the Level 8 logo, which gives it a little funky detail. There's also a little logo in the center of the case that's pretty subtle. There are plastic grab handles on the top and side, and on the opposite side of the suitcase there are also these little feet to protect the surface when you set it down on its side, and a standard TSA lock on top. Opening up the suitcase, you'll immediately notice the biggest difference between the two suitcases. Here, there is no compression pad, and instead we have 2 fully enclosed zipper compartments. I'll tell you which one I prefer later in the video. There are also 2 flat zipper compartments on the right side zipper flap, but besides that, there's no other internal organization. It's a very simple layout. Both of these suitcases endured about 5 weeks of travel at this point, and we rolled them on all kinds of surfaces, from smooth airport floors, cobblestone streets, thick carpet in hotel rooms, and on a cruise ship. So now that we know all of the basic facts and features about each bag, here are my very unscientific opinions about different aspects of each bag that stand out to me. I'm not comparing features on an apples to apples basis because too many of the categories would just be too similar and that would be kind of boring to watch. I'm just going to talk about some sticking points, things that really stood out to me that make a difference between the two. That may sway you if you are leaning towards one choice or another. Handle sturdiness. If you are annoyed by a jiggly handle, then there is no doubt go with the Level 8. The handle on the Level 8 just feels so much sturdier. When you use it, you feel like you're pushing a whole suitcase rather than like pushing a handle, which is then pushing a suitcase. I hope that makes sense, but it just feels a lot more sturdy. If you want the smoothest, most buttery wheels possible, also go with the Level 8. I don't know what it is with these wheels, but they are just so smooth. You can jerk the suitcase around like every which direction and the wheels just switch on a dime. It's really incredible. However, that does mean that the suitcase can tend to like roll off if it's not parked on a perfectly level surface. So keep that in mind. Somebody really needs to invent like a universal stopper, like how they have wheel locks on strollers. Somebody needs to invent a universal wheel lock for suitcases. The Level 8 also has these rubber seals over the zippers, and while it doesn't make it watertight, it does help to prevent water from accumulating in the channel where the zipper is, so it will help with water resistance. So if you're ever caught in the rain, less water would get in around the zippers than with the Quince. That's one thing though, that you can't really like nick the Quince down because that is a design feature of the Away suitcase. So, and since they're trying to copy the Away, that's just how it is. It's just something to note. It's less water resistant, I think, overall. In terms of practical usability, I find the Quince to be a little bit easier to pack despite being about the same size. I think this is because the compression pad style in the Quince allows you to more easily take advantage of that space that's between the two halves, that's underneath where the lining meets the hard side of the suitcase, which is like 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So with the compression pad style, it's just a little bit easier to stuff your overstuffed packing cubes into the half of the suitcase, and even if it sticks up a little bit past the edge, it's fine. You just like strap it down and close it, and it's not a big deal. With the full zips on the Level 8, everything has to fit under the zipper, and if you want to use the space in the middle, you have to just like sandwich something in there separately, which I mean may or may not be a big deal. My husband sandwiched a sweater in there and it was fine. It's just that, like, you know, when you open the suitcase, you will have a loose item in the middle. So it's just up to you if that would bother you or not. Of course, you won't have this problem if you don't overstuff the suitcase or your packing cubes. But when you're traveling with only a carry-on and a backpack and carrying as few items as possible, this is a problem that you are likely to run into. Personally, my neat freak and symmetry loving self really enjoys the tidiness of the two enclosed halves of the Level 8. When both sides are zipped, there is just no chance of any items falling out before you're ready to unzip and remove items yourself. There's just a lot less margin of error. And technically, I can still fit my 2 overstuffed medium packing cubes under that zipper. It takes a little bit of like smushing and finagling, but I can get them in there and I don't feel like the zippers are gonna break. Everything feels secure and not like it's stretched to the limits. So technically it's not even really a problem. And for that reason, I prefer the Level 8 layout overall. In conclusion, you can probably tell already, but the Level 8 is the winner in my opinion. I think the quality is just noticeably better, and for only $15 more if you get it at the sale price, which honestly you'll see pretty often, so there's really no reason to buy it at the full price, I think you'll be more pleased overall with the Level 8. At least I am. But if you want the away aesthetic for less, or you just want to be able to pack a little bit more and a little bit more easily, then the Quince is still a good choice for a carry-on. There's nothing actually wrong with it, besides my opinion, that it just feels slightly flimsier, but it's also lighter, if that's important to you. I intend to keep using it. Like, the Quince is mine, the Level 8 is my husband's, and we're both going to use these suitcases for the foreseeable future until one of them breaks. I don't want to make any, I wouldn't bet, I don't want to like jinx it or make hard predictions, but honestly, I feel like the Quince will break sooner. So probably I will be getting a Level 8 or some other suitcase before my husband retires his Level 8, but I guess we'll see what happens. So those are my thoughts on the Quince 20-inch carry-on and the Level 8 textured carry-on. Overall, I like them both. I don't regret either of them. For the most part, it really just comes down to looks. I don't think my husband cares that much what his suitcase looks like, but the Level 8 really does look like, in general, something that he would like more than a black version of the Quince. The biggest noticeable difference is just that overall sturdy tank-like feeling of the Level 8. When it's fully packed and you have a personal item perched on top, you honestly just feel the difference in the ruggedness. The handle doesn't jiggle nearly as much, and the wheels pivot instantaneously, and it just glides around with more ease. With the Quince, honestly, when it's fully packed and I have a heavy personal item on top, sometimes I have to like jerk it around a little bit to get it to like start moving, but once it's rolling, it's fine. I don't know. It's just one of those like slightly less, a little bit of a lesser user experience than the Level 8, but again, it's fine. It's not like defective or anything. If that's gonna bug you, or a lot of these things are gonna bug you, I would say spring for the Level 8. It's not that much more expensive, and I think the higher price really does reflect in the quality. All of that being said, if I could go back in time, I would have purchased 2 of the Level 8s. This doesn't mean that I hate the Quince or I think it's bad, but I just like the Level 8 a little bit more, and I think it's worth the extra cost. So what do you think? Which one would you pick? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss another suitcase video, bag video. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in.